for our education and believe that it's only a dream and not, it sounded as if he was saying it wasn't possible for everyone, is daunting. However, to flip that, because he said that, and all the other conversations included trade and entrepreneurship, and we know that all entrepreneurs don't go to college, there was, that's the lighter side to what he said. But I was offended, very.
Yeah.
Really
Amen.
That was her point? Your mom took it from you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. A point that I thought was really interesting was the counselor versus student ratio.
Hold on, everybody, can you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, the counselor versus student, because I feel like they're in our community, there's a really big push to get to students in college, but then they're not being given the support system and the tools to be able to succeed. And I see it all the time where I have a lot of people that, you know, went to school with me, go on in college, don't really have the support system, get there, and then end up with a bunch of loans. They don't really, like, end without a degree. So I think that counselor versus, like, racial really demonstrates, like, where I think that's something that really needs to get pushed, and having, like, students have support with, like, knowing what, you know, how to get ready for college.
So at one point, the state superintendent who came out and saw you guys said that he was surprised that people didn't know something. What did he say?
That this is the work that they do, that they that's the kind of work that they do to help them, the MCANs, and for that kind of what they were asking for assistance with. I had a question though. There was a particular grant that they mentioned that they lost out on because of the violation, and exactly what I didn't quite get exactly why we missed out on a grant. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was a regulation issue. She said to get a federal grant, there are a list of things that you must do, and then you have to do it to a certain degree. And because Michigan chose to change their funding priorities, and they did not fund the education at a certain level, they lost the grant because they felt like we're not going to put money here, and it's not that important to you.
Okay.
So that's basically what it said. With federal grants, that's pretty much what happens.
I'm going to go here and then here. Yeah.
So I worked at Wayne County Community College since 1998 until 2012, and I'm from Southwest Detroit, and one of the worst things I've ever seen in my career was what you just mentioned. A lot of students come in underprepared, believing they can't do it, and because of the lack of access to advisors and the proper advising and support, they become convinced that they cannot do it. And then they go away for 2-3 years, and then they come back and they're like, I can do this, but now I have to recover all those grades and years. They come in with debt, and then they have to pay cash to get back in so they can get financially again. I would love to have this conversation, like outside, when we get back, because I think it's one of the things that we could do.
I actually experienced that, and the counselors were, I don't know, they were very, we got to the point where I said, I'm just on my own schedule.
So I'm going to go here, then Raul, Khalid, and then Raul.
Well, the gentleman that was talking when we were on our way out, and he said was a very, very good, valid point, that we are willing to take someone who has made it through college and has the letters behind their name and put them in a position that they may not want, but they want that paycheck. You know, they're not ready to do the job, they're overwhelmed, they don't know how to do it, they just like, okay, I'm going to make this much a year so I can afford my car. But then there's someone who doesn't have the credentials behind their name that may be fluent in this or may be running a business already, and you'd rather give them someone with the credentials the position rather than someone who actually knows how to do the job. And so you end up with people like us who are volunteers somewhere who have been doing something for years, you know, showing people how to fill out financial aid, walking kids through it. And I wouldn't be able to get the position because I don't have a PhD or a master's or anything behind my name. But someone with a master's will tell you, I don't know, go talk to this department. Or I don't know, go talk to that department. And that's, to me, that's very frustrating to have someone that went through all this training to be able to walk me through it. And if I can get through it quicker and better than you can, why do you have this job?
So I just wanted to, I wanted to echo some of the concerns about the last question and the idea that we're possibly diluting the intent of college or what it means to be college educated if we're providing so much access, you know, are we redefining college? Particularly for me, given the statistics in Michigan that 60% of the jobs in in the next 5-10 year period are going to require people. So it bothered me that he was sort of saying we're diluting this. We shouldn't. He was almost putting a position of maybe not emphasizing college as much. When all the growth in jobs opportunities are people with college, what is he saying in the context of that data? That's really problematic.
It really shook me up because he used the word, it used to be exclusive.
Right.
That was the first word he used, and so that really got my attention. And then I thought, okay, it used to be exclusive, so what are you saying? You want to go back to that? And all of the people he mentioned that didn't go to college are dead.
Come on through. Hillary, then Brian, and I'll put you back on that.
Yeah, I don't think, to speak to my
Let's
interpretation.
make a little bridge back. Let's do both sides and we can walk through.
So my interpretation of what he said, and obviously I don't know, but I think that he then followed that up with, I'm saying, so then he made the point about credentials versus competency. I don't think he was necessarily saying holistically, like, let's change how we view college, but the ramifications of if we continue to build this up at the rate that we do, then there are people who don't have the money to get to college, but they're so able and competent to be able to do this. So I think he was speaking to the exact concern that you have about that, is that everybody's requiring that you have an education to be able to get these jobs. And I think he was saying, is there a way to kind of come back this way and just relook the whole picture? So I think that's, and I don't, not that I'm saying that I agree or disagree, but I think he was trying to draw the larger picture to speak to that same issue.
My lens doesn't allow me to see it that way.
I disagree. Then we're going to go to Brian. So Brian.
See, the one thing that got me about the different names that he chose. Okay, so you got Thomas Edison in there, who was around over 100 years or so ago, where education wasn't even really needed because you had your primary school and then you go off and you work in whatever trade your family has. And then he mentions Malcolm X, which even during when he was coming up, a lot of the jobs didn't really require a high school diploma. I mean, up until the mid-70s, you didn't really need a high school diploma in order to get a job. And with Michigan being so manufacturing based historically, like, this is a major paradigm shift, and I think he might be afraid of that. But the problem, I think, is the fact that the kids don't have access, and the kids don't know what they're doing when they're filling out these forms. That right there, because no matter what you want to do, whether you want to go to college, whether you want to go to the military, whether you want to run your own business, anything that you want to do, you should be able to have the option and say, okay, well, I can do this, but I choose not to because this is a better path for me. We got too many kids in these neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods, getting shut out from the system altogether because either they don't know who to ask or they don't think they can do it. They shut themselves down altogether.
So one more thing before we go back in, because they're going to start a presentation on early education. So you guys talked a lot about one person's comment, right?